It is officially the 15th of October, which means we're halfway through the month. But I still have a lot more drawings to go through before I finally get to the end of October. So let's keep up that grind because I'm fighting for my life every single day out here trying to finish this DRAWTOBER challenge. Once again, here's the prompt list we're going to be using, and we're going to look at number 15 for today, and the prompt is apples. Let's get started. Okay, so for the drawing process, I'm going to be doing the same thing I did last time, which was sketch and ink it inside of my Procreate app on my iPad, then print it out on Nina cardstock paper, just so I can make the process faster and more enjoyable to myself, especially because waiting for ink to dry before you color with markers can be a really big hassle. Plus, it's way easier to make last-second changes to the design, and overall just make details easier to do. Originally, when I read the word apples or apple, I was like, what in the world am I going to do with that? Am I going to have people bobbing for apples, or are they going to be like, I don't even know. Like, I was just so lost to the prompt, I had no idea. But then I remembered the whole poison apple thing from Snow White, which honestly is a really cool design, and I was like, man, I wish I could use that, but I'm afraid to use it, and then Disney comes knocking at my door like, hey, how you doing? So I was like, I'm not even gonna mess with that, forget that whole idea. But what I did like was the idea of an evil force trying to stop a good force, which was the evil old witch who was actually the queen trying to stop Snow White. Also, don't judge me, I've never watched Snow White in my entire life, so I'm just grasping at little things I know from like online or from modern media that references it, or even just from friends who would kind of discuss it when I was younger. Otherwise, I don't really know much else about the movie. I did, however, instead of doing the poison apple itself, I just kind of went with the regular red apple, which the poison apple, once it is like fully cured, turns into a regular red apple, which is why Snow White falls for it and takes a bite out of it in the first place. So of course I'm putting my own twist on this. I'm not going to be drawing an evil old ugly witch. Instead, I'm going to be drawing an evil attractive guy. Yeah, that's any better, right? No, not really, still evil, but good looking and evil, right? When making him, I really wanted the sense of royalty to be there, so I made sure to plan the outfit accordingly to how I believe he would look like. So I really wanted to keep the idea of a cloak to hide himself, or like his true identity, from whoever he's giving the poison apple to, but I didn't want it to be a dark cloak. I wanted it to be white in specific. I feel like it's easier to trick someone when you're wearing clothing that doesn't look so dark or mysterious. So there's that. There's also the fact that he's just got his little accessories that make him different, such as mesh under his princely top. I don't know how to say that otherwise. It also has elements of like faux fur around the sleeves and around the bottom of the cape as well. I also wanted to match different elements of the red within the piece, because I didn't want to just make the apples red and then nothing else. So I made sure to give him a red bow along with like a red little hairband. I also made his skin a little bit more on the pinker / reddish side, so it also could tie in more elements of the red, because I feel like red is a very important part of this piece. I also made sure that when I was doing his expression, that it looked evilish enough and that it wasn't too sweet, because I have a tendency to make my characters too nice looking or too sweet, and it's very hard for me to pull expressions on characters because I don't practice them enough. But within the last 15 days, because I've been forcing myself to do more DRAWTOBER, I've been able to push myself with expressions more. So I feel like I've captured enough of an evil glare on him. It almost looks like he's looking at the person he wants to give the apple to from a distance. So in order to push that this character is definitely some kind of royalty, whether it be a king, a prince, or anything else that is really high up their status, I wanted to make sure that his clothes were of regal or royal colors. This means something like a blue or a purple, because those colors were really hard to make or to come by unless you were of royalty, which means that you had the money to do something like that. So I wanted to make sure that he was wearing a kind of bluish outfit here for that specific reason. The fact that we're able to even wear purple and blues today is kind of cool. That means that the colors have become significantly easier to make over time, along with just the fact that it's significantly more inclusive now, which means that it's not just reserved for a certain type of people or status. The only thing, though, that is consistent is the fabric textures that still stays of different price variations, because something like silk, which is harder to make because it's by hand, is more expensive than compared to something like cotton, which is made by a machine, and since it's produced for the masses, can be less expensive. That's why when you go to Walmart, you can get a $5 shirt, because it's more likely than not a cotton shirt, when if you go to somewhere that sells higher end things like silk shirts, those silk shirts would be $30 to $40, maybe $50. This character in specific doesn't like take place in any time period. That's why the clothes aren't very like what they would be for a certain time period. I'm just drawing what I think someone of certain royal status would wear, and of a certain time and imaginary world. Like, I don't it's not like very accurate in any way, shape, or form. There's no way royalty would wear like mesh under their shirt like that. At least I don't think there would be. Nor would they have like fur cuffs on their sleeves. Maybe they would have a bow and stuff like that, but honestly, I just wanted to try and do my own kind of style of king slash royalty slash prince, whatever, just because I like the design. And I really think it helps push and exaggerate how his character is that he's really showy. He kind of likes the theatrical side of things, which is why he's dressed so much differently than a normal king or queen would, or any kind of royalty for that matter. That's why he has so much different elements to his outfit, even though like maybe some won't make sense. That's just because he likes it that way, and it helps him create the idea that he is different in comparison to the other kinds of people around him in that royal world. As for something like the background, I decided to leave it blank this time. I've been really trying hard the last few days, or whenever I try and get one of these prompts, to put something like a background element in to give it a more interesting kind of dynamic, but this time I didn't do that because it was almost kind of difficult for me to think of what to put behind him. I was either thinking like snow, but then his whole like cape is white and that's gonna like blend in too well with the snow, or something really dark, which I didn't know if that would fit really well because he's already wearing dark clothing. So I told myself, why don't I just kind of leave the background the way it is and let him speak on the paper for himself. Maybe I could take this drawing into digital and then from there put a background in and see how that would kind of work, which doesn't sound like such a bad idea when I think about it. Okay, so this is basically the final piece. I really like how he came out, and I think that this is one of the better drawings that I've done in a very, very long time. I really like his character design and how he shows through and everything. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye.